For all the people who cried earlier that they cannot simply own or buy SpaceX shares prior to the IPO and make tons of money, well, this might actually be your closest possible exposure. Bloomberg reports that Elon Musk considers going full IPO M&A, merger and acquisition between SpaceX, Tesla, and xAI. This will become a gigantic company, and this will give you a completely different exposure. If you look at the price action for Tesla today, the market wasn't happy, was kind of confused. But the idea of merging these three companies, it gives you a hint of Tesla is no longer a car company. It hasn't been a car company ever since start building the new upgrades and the whole software and the batteries and the whole charging systems, right? You do understand that the car is what people actually associate the brand with, but there is a software associated behind Tesla, and the software was the main driver for robotaxi, the autonomous vehicles, etc., etc., etc. The recurring revenue for all the people who in the future will be purchasing these vehicles and will be putting these vehicles to work while they're not using the vehicles as a side hustle business, Uber, Lyft. This is why this is your second validation over here that if this merger actually happens, you're going to have, probably not clear yet if it happens and how it will work, but if you currently hold Tesla shares, it will be very interesting to see how the price will actually fluctuate when the shares and the company merges with either or both companies, xAI and SpaceX. If you really understand, this will actually rebalance the value of Tesla, because the valuation of Tesla, if you look at the last 6 months trading sessions and what is the 30-day moving average, you understand that there is a very high volatility, similar to the Bitcoin's volatility, similar to the crypto market volatility in Tesla stock. But when you actually have additional companies who support the more predictable revenue from SpaceX, the problem, of course, will be the xAI, which burns cash, and the social media business is really hard to maintain unless you're able to accommodate a lot of advertisers. This is why you saw today Meta stock popped, probably the only one from all the earnings reporting companies. Even Apple, who beat and destroy earnings, it's barely up, like 0.20, 0.28. It's nothing. Only Meta actually saw the biggest growth. Why was that? I had to double check. The main reason why investors are still bullish, not only on the current representation of Meta, but also for the future, is that, remember, the Meta business is ads. And now, because of the AI and the super intelligence team, they can optimize ads, they can place more ads, they can make the ads more flexible, they can make the ads cost a little bit more for better performance of the usual users. So if before the same big companies who have budgets, let's say 10, 20, 50, $100 million per year, running the old models without the AI, without optimization, without the best cap expense right on this particular cost acquisition per client, this is now much more accurate. It costs them a little bit more, but it brings them much more business, supposedly, allegedly. So this is why people are bullish, because the models, the AI models, will get better, which will make the business of Meta much, much more profitable. Sure, they're hemorrhaging money like crazy, and they're planning to spend another $150 billion on AI this year alone. This is very interesting, because if we go back to the biggest M&A, if it happens between Tesla, SpaceX, and xAI, well, this will give a massive, massive leverage, and also will give a greater probability for the performance of the stock, net worth of Elon Musk, of course, and will give a cushion of sustainability. If they have a bad quarter of sales of Tesla moving forward after the M&A, well, some of these missed opportunities or misperformance of the estimate of the earnings could be offset by very good performance of the SpaceX. Maybe he actually be able, as his main plan is, of course, to utilize xAI to become the one one shop up where you will be able to buy stuff, hire people from here, being able to do absolutely that people are actually doing on the Chinese one-stop shop apps, right? They're using the apps for absolutely everything, for dating, for work, for social media, for entertainment. So the main concept here is that these three billion-dollar companies will add a separate value and will contribute with different qualities to the total valuation of the company if they go under the same ticker symbol. It is much better when you have a company with predictable revenues, which is the SpaceX, which majority of the revenue comes from government contracts. Then you have more and more predictability from the electric vehicle revenue from Tesla. And then don't forget, we do have xAI getting better and better. Uh, Considering the AI models, the Grok, the value there will not only be perceived if there are a lot of advertisers and advertisement revenue, like people will be measured the success on Meta, but also the value over here could be coming directly from the performance of Grok. People using Grok for coding, people using Grok for generating images, content, and the subscription model that is coming. Most likely it will go higher. We already have people who are paying the max top performance model from Grok, top tier, $300 a month, if I'm not mistaken. So you do understand that the conceptual wisdom over here, people who are familiar with the AI industry, is that there is a direct comparison with some of the most profitable so far AI models, the Anthropic models, the Claude people, the revenue they're generating, the Replit, the OpenAI, right? All of these are kind of in a very close tier. Each one has a specialization in different part of the market, where some of them are better in content, other better in text, the other are better in actual video production or code-based software. The main idea is that if X is able to improve and keep building upon the current model and have a lot of people who are praising people who are coding on a daily basis, right? They're engineers, they're praising the model, they're praising the efficiency and the quality of the actual code and the answers. This is something that will add additional value and will help bring the valuation even higher, because you don't really expect Elon Musk to fail in general or in either of those ventures, right? You don't. Me neither. So worst case scenario, at least maybe two out of three companies will become super successful. Which two of these three? Definitely, in my opinion, SpaceX will be the one, because there's no definitely real competition. No one has actually cracked the code aside from them to build the reusable rockets and to be able to deliver the space station, all the contracts that they have on a daily basis. They work with NASA, etc. Right? And don't forget that there is a Starlink that no one yet talks about, and how Starlink will completely change the internet infrastructure around the world and will provide the surveillance and will provide the different services, something similar to Palantir, and might be in the future in direct competition with Palantir. Who knows what's coming next? But this is why you don't really have the exact expectations, because there are so many different pieces and it's hard to collect and assimilate all the pieces trying to make up the case for something that is one directional bet, right? I understand that. I do have a hard time also figuring out, but this is might actually be the biggest IPO if it actually happens.